Right?
Right.
No, John, what they need is benefits. I'm telling you, I don't care if you pay somebody $80,000 a year and they're good and they're qualified. If you're really trying to fill that position and make it full-time, nobody's gonna work and put money in the bank for 3 years and have a hospital bill come in and bankrupt.
Oh, I understand. So,
Everybody's trying to get their pension funded.
yeah,
So what kind of category is the town in when it comes to employees? You know, we're really volunteer based. If you look at Mary Duggan and then Lynn, I mean, they're basically just donating their time. And so when we all of a sudden decided that we're not gonna be like that anymore, what we're gonna do is really run a town. First of all, we gotta increase the population to about 6,000. And then we start putting out salaries and we go to a headhunter and then we get the right benefits. And we're not even close to that. So the reality of it is, how are we gonna find another Lynn? And even if we double that number,
We never will find another Lynn, by the way, go on.
what are we gonna do? But, you know, we're not talking about professional town here. I didn't want to say professional, we're not a professional town because of our size.
yeah, I understand.
We do things professionally and we try to work that way, but really, it's still all volunteer. There's a good example right there too. Well, all you guys are, you know, planning and zoning, but that's what we do.
All of us.
We're saying that we've invested time and money in our personal assets in this town, so we're gonna go out and protect them and insure them, and we're gonna volunteer a little bit, and we're gonna make this thing happen. Well, to go to the next step, it's real
Big
hard
step.
when it's this small.
I understand, I agree.
But, as we've talked every month, and as I said earlier today, we're getting, every month and every year, we're getting closer to having, whether it's a public works guy doing all sorts of things.
That's
I mean,
right.
that day's gonna come one of these days.
And I look at it, I thought we would never replace Mary Duggan and Mike Duggan. And I think we have. You know, and these guys will move on and probably will replace them. I think our town's a lot bigger than one or two people. I
It's gonna
hope.
get them involved.
I hope,
We just get people involved.
yeah, that's our part, that's the hard part.
They want to complain and carry on about different things, like maybe they're.
They aren't liking all the hard work that's been done for the 10 years, because a lot of people really, I mean, last year, I've heard, you know, just from my business and people, oh yeah, I'm trying to get over to Daniels, and, you know, they don't know anything about anything with Daniel, and it's a total reverse from 10 or 20 years ago, for sure. Not about total reverse, but a big reverse.
The reverse of that.
As in, what was looked at Daniels 20 years ago, now looking at Daniels of what we are now as a town, and people like our space, and people like, I think, want to get over here if they
Yeah,
can.
our town's changing a lot.
It is. We noticed that, aren't we?
Hopefully we can maintain the reason we're all here and still
What are fighting?
allow some of that other income.
So what do we do on this thing? Do we ask some people to gather data like Eric has, or maybe does Eric have enough data, or what do we want to do?
I don't know if we're gonna gather salaries from multiple places and then individual duties for each one of those people that have those salaries. I think we gotta at least look at if it's a clerk, we include clerk duties and or others, but at least clerk duties. I don't think anyone's gonna be being a clerk. I mean, I guess it gives you less duties than they're supposed to, which they're not quite very effective clerks. But, as compared to there now, and if you get any more depth out there, that perhaps is some depth as far as salaries and positions.
Yeah, well, every single entity will have different requirements, so,
So to compare apples for apples would be pretty tough.
yeah.
But like that guy that's bringing in the 156, he's probably got an education of some kind in planning, and he's probably spent years and years doing it.
You
But
probably
is that
have,
is his education
Yeah, like
better than a
that.
school of hard knocks?
but has he spent
I'm
like,
not saying
Yeah.
no way.
I mean, I've been doing this 20 years. How long you gotta be in school to learn what you gotta learn?
Yeah, I'm not trying to say we have that or we don't have that, don't.
And,
get me
and,
wrong
well,
there.
we got the same thing. Lynn's learned on the job. That's what we do.
Yeah, I agree, again, I agree with that 100%, but some of these salaries are based on not that.
On education,
They are.
for sure.
Absolutely. And I talked to Doug Smith about the planners, and he says the average planner is 8 years. You can plan on having a job for 8 years.
And then what?
The councils change, the vision changes, you move on. You have a planner for 8 years. I said, wait a minute, I'm past.
I just starting.
I'll just start another day.
No, you're right.
So, as far as I'm concerned, I don't see me working here for another 4 years at $10.71 an hour. I just don't see me doing that. My time just gets to be more and more valuable, and the time I cut out, I just don't see me doing that. So, at some point, something's gotta happen. Now we're gonna have half a reporter go, and unfortunately, Lynn's not gonna benefit from this because she has another plan. But we have to replace these people as it comes in.
We do.
Some people could be replaced at X, and other people wouldn't touch X, they would only be replaced for a double X, and I don't, you know, we have to come up with that figure to be able to present.
But change can sometimes be good, you know, for things. In Lynn's case, I don't think it's good at all, but.
It'll be good. This was a plan.
Her and Jack are gonna live a good life here in 6 months.
You don't have to look at your job definition. Is this a career or is this a, I don't know another big word, but, you know, Lynn's not in this for a career. You hire somebody that just, this is their job and that's their career and they got money.
Yeah.
And there are many clerks in towns in Utah that have got 30-plus years as a clerk. I mean, that is their career.
Big and small, right, John?
Yes, and I think it would be nice to find someone
At
that
a
does
decent
want to
salary.
put time in, because it's harder to keep transitioning training. You know, and I apologize for only signing up for 4 years,
Oh, you did great.
but, yeah, the longer the better as far as the clerk goes.
And we've learned everyone, and hopefully we'd find somebody that might have that attitude, but then you've got other attitudes, like we mentioned, that they're not gonna do it unless they get X and X and X.
Right,
Well, at least got us to another point.
exactly. And I do think you're all looking at benefits, which is a plus in any job, so.
Yeah, that does need some longevity to it. But then, I mean, when I look through this list, I work with a lot of these planners. And
And it just pisses him off every time.
they're, no, I think that these people are getting ripped off. Because there's a lot of these folks that just don't do a job. And as I meet in with these planners, as we go to these meetings around, I'm just totally amazed at some of this, what they don't do and get paid for. I'm amazed.
But that's
You know
true.
what, we'll make
That's
a
true,
big
anything.
difference there. Do you consider your retirement in that 1071?
No.
And you get a pretty good retirement.
Oh, yes, I do. That was the gross. I took the gross. That was included in
Oh, that was?
it. It was.
Oh, wow.
Yep, that was everything. That was the gross.
That's the retirement we pay and your salary,
Yeah,
or we call it a salary.
yeah. So 10, you know, and just because I kept track for a year, I mean, that was last year's, that's just what it worked out to be. So,
But I don't think that you're saying, showing them this, saying, this is what I'm expecting. Because like John said, you know, you may not have this degree behind you, but you have been doing it. And you're very qualified, you got all these other licenses and things, but you may not have the degree. But you're not asking for 100,000. You're just saying, I need something, I need more. Because I am working my butt off and I'm doing everything. And, you know, they're not offering you a full-time position. I mean, if the town was offering a full-time position, you'd probably be looking at the 100,000, you know? And I think that, you know, like they said, this has been a volunteer, and he's done a lot volunteer, but I also think it's, you know, he should be compensated
And I-
for what he's, you know, like you said, you've seen him, he goes to these meetings, you've heard from the attorney, don't lose him. And I'm, you know, and I'm prejudiced, but, you know, I think he's done some good. And you know, John's saying, well, maybe it's time for a change. Maybe it is. You know.
I did not mean to imply that we should let Eric go and
It's
get a
a
new
change
dude
of
in here.
monetary.
Oh.
Please don't take it like I implied
Oh,
that
okay.
at all.
I did not take it like that.
You know, the one thing that's hard for any individual to say, you know, I want to make X.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
know, that is really tough for anyone. I mean, I know maybe some people it won't be, but I think everybody here would be really tough. And I think everybody would like, I mean, a pat on the back's nice, but a little bit more money is probably a little better. Well, it's a really tough subject because no one really wants to throw it out there, but we're gonna have to throw something out there. And
Yeah,
it's gonna be more than 1071. And you need to come up with some kind of figure that, you know, that we can discuss
Like
and,
27.
I don't know.
Well, and that's, if like you're saying, maybe that's what you need to say, Eric, tell us what you want. Or maybe you as a council want to say, this is what we're gonna do, is this acceptable? I mean, and maybe you as a council will say, you know, this isn't what we want. But like I said, maybe that's what you guys need to decide. If this, you know, we want to keep you here, and for 1071, it's kind of just a slap in the face saying, you know. But like I said, he loves doing it. I know he loves, well, he usually loves doing it. There's sometimes he's, you know, I think he like pulls hair out like you would. But it's just the way it is. So maybe that's what you need to say. Maybe you need to now come up and say, you know, I need a $10 raise, or I need to be 25 bucks an hour, or something. I don't know. Maybe that's what you guys need to work on. But I'm with Lynn. Lynn needs somebody there too. And if Lynn's that wage, it would be great to have a full-time.
yeah, I'll be the easy one. We're trying to lure somebody in
Yeah.
for some
And there is,
positions.
and her job is a full, usually, like she said, there's people that make that their career, and they retire there, and, you know, and that's it. That is a very important thing to, and you need to get somebody enticed in there.
Well, that discussion needs to happen as well, and with that discussion, so we kind of had it on this agenda. We're not going to get very specific tonight, but we need to, and not tonight, but we need to get specific and get this over with, because it's kind of been brewing for a while.
The next month's agenda.
What will we have ready, then what could we get, so I mean, if we can make a move on this, to have, I mean, I'd like it on next month's agenda, but what do we need to do to be prepared so we don't him and haw next month?
Yeah, what do you want me to bring next month? I can drop his, what
Well,
else?
that's kind of, I don't know, I mean, I'd like, what else would the other people like to see?
What, yeah, what do you want to say?
Well, don't you think that some of the jobs that you do, Eric, don't require as much expertise as other jobs? Would you agree with that?
Yes.
So maybe help a person that makes less than, well, I'm just using you, Eric, that makes less than he directs to do, I don't know, what's your simple job? Let's say blue stakes. I have no idea what blue stakes even does. But,
Here's the
hey,
problem
hire
though.
me. I go out.
He's gonna have to
I
go
do
over
blue
and
stakes.
double check that guy that we'd hire anyway. He'd have to, he's gonna spend his time reviewing it.
Well, maybe if once he got to trust me and I knew how to do the blue stakes,
That's
he'd
true.
let me go.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, and that's a perfect example of blue state.
I mean, I don't know how,
Well,
what even entails, so.
It is,
I
but
just picked it.
we use that to know when people are digging into town so we get the excavation permit. So it's all, that's why it goes like this so much.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just like, wait a minute, I got a dig going, I gotta touch base with Ryan. We got somebody who's gonna dig in the right of way. We got something going on we don't have permitted. So we
Maybe
use.
some kind of help. Maybe
Yeah,
blue
I-
stakes was a poor
I
poor
think-
example.
No, I think that's. a
You
good
still get the
idea.
notice, but somebody else goes out and actually puts me on
Actually
the
does
ground.
the physical labor. I mean, I don't know, you want to.
I'll bet that $158,000 planner isn't putting blue stakes.
He is
Yeah,
not.
He's not, but I can tell you the guy that is, isn't making 1071 either.
Oh.
But he also might be sitting in an office in a tie and a suit all day, which might be less appealing to you, just as an example. Maybe that is appealing, I don't know. But I think maybe there's pieces of the jobs you could take apart. Maybe there's some things you said, yeah, I really hate doing whatever it is. Let's hire somebody to help me do whatever that
We
is.
have code enforcement, I mean, Heber City has their own code enforcement.
I know.
I'm out there doing that. It's
Exactly.
like,
You got too many tasks, as most people do, but maybe we could figure something out there that,
I agree, that might be the
I
way.
mean, I don't know. It just thought it up.
A thought is maybe, I mean, you're talking about Eric's jobs.
Jobs.
And we're talking about Lynn's job being replaced. Maybe we ought to go through and decide, make a list from 1 to 10 of what the priority of employees you need to have salaried or benefited, and what positions they're gonna be, what kind of positions you wanna fill. And then you can start deciding, maybe comparing some of the other small entities, maybe like Wanship. They're a small town like Daniels. You get some comparisons on how they're handling it, and not Heber City, and not a big corporation that's been around for a long time.
I tried to get kind of that, Mark, where we listed what we wanted each person, or what each person was kind of responsible for, and we don't want to, our council doesn't want to do that.
Well, I mean, not necessarily what they're responsible for, but maybe the positions that you can see that you're gonna need to fill as a salaried position.
But how do you do that without knowing what they're responsible for?
Well, there's
Well,
that
they
book,
budgeted- they
the
have the
League of
budgeting
City
right
and
now.
They have a name
Towns.
for that already.
The League of City and Towns book, isn't that what it's called, Eric?
There's a book, yeah.
What's that book?
Duties and
The
responsibilities.
duties and responsibilities, that's where Eric's got most, all, between that and what? Planning seminars and things.
Well, we-
That's where he, or
Class
direction
up at
from,
University of Utah, Citizen Finder.
yeah, or direction from the mayor, what the council asked him to do. That's where he's got his responsibility, but that duties, it tells each person what their duties are.
But maybe what we would do is something a little different, where maybe our clerk did a little bit of what Eric does, and Eric does maybe a little bit of what someone else's clerk does. And so it's hard to go from that book. I think we ought to use that book as a guideline. I think it's a great idea, but then maybe detail just, and I'm not saying we need to say exactly what they do, because other things come up. But if we just had a general idea, then we know what kind of person we gotta get to fill that place, fill that position.
Kind of like in the hospital, we have housekeepers, we have nurses, we have multiple other people. If you said, if I saw trash on the floor and I said, you're the housekeeper, you pick that up, and I walk right by it, that's not right.
No.
So you, and that stuff happens all the
I
time.
was gonna say, I'm sure you see it every day.
Yeah, so we don't want to narrow it so much as to try to, that's not my
No,
job.
And I'm not
And
saying
that's
that.
not what you said, but
No.
I think since our town is so small, we have to have tons of flexibility, which you guys have demonstrated all along.
I see tonight being a good example. Eric is at this point saying, it's taken him 2 years, however many years, to finally say, 1071 just
It's
ain't
not
gonna
gonna
work.
make
I'm glad that he's been able to say that, we've all seen that. I think maybe some people throughout the last 10 years have all felt that, and it hasn't been addressed, and it needs to be addressed because we're not the same we were 10 years ago. Now, our big ball is rolling, and we have these other things we've got to deal with, but right now, like you said, job duties and titles, well, we all know it, we got 10 of them. Putting a planner down, that's pretty generic, well, he's way more than a planner, or, the mayor, I get people in every single week now that talk about something, or phone calls, so everybody's jobs, I think, has increased in the last 4 years.
So there's 50 on here, there's one person below me, and it looks like that they're a under planner. So I was assuming that that's
How much?
356, under planner at Park City, so I'm assuming that that's a internship.
Intern.
But that, you would be great with an intern, Eric.
That would be?
I would think that you could train someone and help someone, and there might be some,
What do you got in mind?
I don't know. But the town didn't know that we would have you. The town didn't know we'd have Chip or Lynn.
Yeah.
People step up. This town is bigger than any one of us individually.
I agree, but you can't get them to step up, so. Hey, if you pick up the football and run with it, somebody will pounce on you. That's the nature of the game.
Called rugby.
Isn't that true? That's a
Well-
good way to say it.
I can just keep our eyes,
I agree,
Understand.
1075 or whatever it is not enough.
right, but we need to get.
You just have to understand that when you pick up the
These
ball,
salaries
you
up.
are gonna get bounced on, so.
Okay, so we're gonna have a discussion the next month on more details on employee and, I don't want to just say employee, let's put,
Please don't.
we want to put it next month as in compensation for what, town
Well,
Positions is,
positions right now.
well, there is, but the whole discussion might go to, we got
Employees.
a planning gal that just came on, and maybe, we got, we have to look at every person.
Employees.
Yeah, I think we need to look at it as a holistic and what the town wants and not necessarily what we gotta do to keep Eric, which I hope we do. We gotta look at it, what the town needs, what the town wants, and then if Eric can do that, awesome.
Okay, so, once
That's
again,
why Masons keep their tools in a bucket, you can pick them up and move on.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. I mean, you have at least one other job that you're full-time at, so, I don't know how much you wanna commit, so I don't know that we, and given that, he's gonna be gone in 10 years anyway, if that long, right?
I hope.
Yeah. So we gotta be careful that we don't plan it around one person, that we plan what we do.
If the airport has their way, it'll be a little faster.
See, I hope not. Things happen.
Them too.
Yep. Yep.
Me too. I'll be gone in 10.
How far behind Daniels is, if you were to compare him to, say, Francis, that just now has a public work building and
They do, but the county does their planning.
and stuff like that? I was just curious what the difference is.
Francis and Camas
They're
and
looking at-
Oakley and all these little burbs, how do they all do theirs?
Yeah. Camus has a plan.
And Charleston and Interlochen, they're trying to get.
Charleston has Brian Priest that works in Salt Lake. Comes down and runs that one for them on the side.
And they don't have any codes.
And one shift. One shift.
Now, I actually think we have better support from Eric than any of those towns probably
Oh,
have.
I know we do. But I just curious
Maybe
what
we
they
can't
do.
afford that kind of
You
support.
can even get into bigger cities, and I can guarantee you have better support than a lot of bigger cities have. They sit in a lot of meetings. and I
they're gonna
don't
see the
think
guys
it's
that
right.
don't care. We care about our community,
We
they
do.
just care about their
That's all
job.
they
Yeah.
Those
And
guys
the
are
money.
home before.
Yeah. That's when I start.
And that's a problem too, Eric. You work a lot.
Yeah, but,
You have 2 full-time jobs.
yeah, but I have a vested interest in this too.
Oh, I know you do.
Absolutely.
And I'm not saying you don't at all. You really do.
But there are hungry fish somewhere.
All righty then, so, salary will be moved to next month, and item 12 is approval of minutes of May 1st. We move on, or we still want to discuss?
Nope, I think we're okay,
All
all
right.
right. Everybody happy? Motion to approve.
I'll second.
I don't think I was here.
So, we have a motion and a second to approve minutes of May 1st, 2017. Any last discussion?
No, you got my message.
Yes.
All approved?
Aye.
Yes.
Any disapproved? Okay, the minutes are approved.
Yes.
Abstain.
I gotta hear 3, then I don't need
I thought, I knew Lynn had that, David.
that. Recorder's office warrants approvals, announcements.
Hey, got the warrants here in front of you. Reimburse phone expense, postage for myself, Dolores quarterly software. One attorney billing, was mostly looking at plats. I've had this for 6 or 7 weeks, I cut the invoice right after last month's meeting. But there was nothing for water issues, it was all town. Chris's invoice, to finish out the year. GDA invoices there, delineated. And Wasatch County replaced the stop sign at 3000 Southfield Road. I told Chip it was a larger number, but it was $132.
I did have to say like, what?
And Eric, according to your planning report versus what you gave me in the email, your hours are different.
Are they,
So,
I could have changed it off of this, John changed it on the format.
so we'll just stick with what's on this, the warrants here,
Okay,
if that works for you.
does it matter?
Just so
Still
it's
make
been
the same
discussed and
amount.
approved.
Doesn't matter. hours I put in, I still get paid the same.
Yeah. Probably true. Councilmember Bateman's $50 will be deleted. Then municipal water, data, power, postage, and the water testing invoices. The $375 was for the radionuclides, radium, they had it for like 4 months before they finally got the results. But that should be the last high price test that's done around.
And that's one of those every 3 years kind of thing.
Yeah, till the new test.
Question,
So they come up with a new one.
when we've had these dual meetings, do we get paid for those two?
No.
Oh, I didn't even think about that, John.
It wasn't budgeted for, don't pay us.
I'll take your lunch.
We need to take you to lunch.
Yeah, yeah.
What, you guys get lunch?
Look at that, I get lunch.
So you can see on the payroll of both water companies, Kim's hours, where he's been putting in a lot of time. Stormhaven, gas, power, water testing, and then the 2 road bills.
And did Kim get the card from you, right,
He got the number from Sherry, so the $600, the first bill, one day was put on the charge card, and then he called me and we set up a credit application.
Oh.
So we're on
There you go.
there, and they'll just send us an invoice and we don't have to put it on the charge card.
I mean,
Where's this at?
Rotor Rooter.
Oh,
credit card,
Frequent
I never
shopper.
took mine out.
Look, it's a discount.
Yeah.
That's it for
Okay.
warrants.
There's a motion on the warrants for approval.
So moved.
We have a motion to approve the minute, excuse me, the warrants. Second, do you have any discussion?
And you get second, okay, I was just looking at the Smith and Martin thing.
Okay.
Is this for the, what we just haven't looked at, the fire?
It hasn't looked at it.
Oh, I thought he did.
He did look, he looked at it and we had a conversation on it, but he didn't, I had never seen a bill come through. I mean, like I said,
This was an older billing, so if he's done that more recently,
Yeah, I thought you had a conversation with him about that.
I did.
that wasn't on it. This
I mean,
predated that.
he may have not, I mean, there's several conversations that are, I mean, look at his bills, they're hardly any.
Yeah. Yeah, I just didn't know what that one was for. This is a prior bill?
Yeah, it was dated
Okay.
for last of April.
Have to ask.
Well, and I wanted to kind of know, but I have not heard of that particular bill. I'm kind of interested because I know there's 2 or 3 that he has not even been charged for quick little phone calls. Well,
Don't ask him.
yeah, I think exactly. He's treating us really right, in my opinion.
Okay.
We have a first and a second. We had discussion. Any other discussion? If not, all approved?
Aye.
Any disapproved? All right.
I make a motion, we adjourn tonight's meeting.
All right. We have a motion adjourned. Do we have a second?
Get that, thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion adjourned. Meeting adjourned.
Well.
There is hardly anyone left, but I remind you that candidacy filing ends Wednesday at 5 o'clock.